Hello and welcome to Veterans Voices 2025. I'm Dean Staley. During this KRQE special, we will be celebrating the service, the sacrifice, and dedication of our United States veterans. Not just in the line of duty, but also here in New Mexico and in communities all across the country. We start with a story of a Navy veteran who made history and found unexpected healing along the way. Ben Morris has that story from Fresno, California.
Since 2013, Central Valley Honor Flight has provided a world-class experience to the veterans of Central California, escorting them across the sky to the U.S. Capitol. This flight, the 32nd out of Fresno, includes 73 veterans, 5 of them women, including Navy veteran Jackie Tripp.
I'm blessed. I am totally blessed, and I'm just so honored to be a part of all of this.
Each Central Valley Honor Flight is a 3-day adventure filled with sightseeing, visiting monuments and memorials, and even an in-depth tour of the Capitol building. A flight Tripp wasn't expecting to be on.
I wasn't supposed to be here. I had originally signed my husband up for it, and then as a fluke I thought, oh well, I'll sign me up because they probably won't pick me.
The next thing she knew, she and her husband, Navy veteran Dick, and their daughters were here in D.C. A visit well earned following her time in the service, which all started in 1975. Tripp enlisted after being inspired by her Navy veteran dad and aunt who served in the Women's Army Corps during World War II. But from the beginning, she faced scrutiny and speed bumps in the male-dominated field.
I did bump a lot of men out of their barracks, out of their shore duty, out of a lot of stuff, and there was some resentment, and they threw it at me.
Her first assignment was supposed to be aboard the historic Old Ironsides, the USS Constitution, which was first launched back in 1797 until she was told women weren't allowed, and was instead sent to Japan to serve as a librarian and a career counselor. From there, she was sent to Naval Submarine Base Bangor in Washington State to work as a radio operator, where she was the only enlisted woman. But in Washington, it was the officers' wives that didn't want her in the radio shack, so she became a message runner for the executive officer instead, before finishing her career with the Navy's Construction Battalion. A roller coaster ride in the service, all coming back to her.
I never realized how much pain I carried because I didn't go to Vietnam, even though I was in the Vietnam era.
But it's pain a trip like this is helping heal while providing her a deeper understanding of her male counterparts.
To be able to let that go, to know that and understand that they were playing a very important part of it all. And, you know, I'm sorry that I was in their way, but I'm not sorry that I was there to support them.
Though healing is a major part of each honor flight, on the final day of Tripp's journey, she was hit with the ultimate shock. The chance to accomplish one of her life's dreams, laying the wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Today was just mind-blowing. I would have never imagined to be selected to do what they asked me to do. It was a complete surprise and a total honor.
It also makes her the first woman in 32 Central Valley Honor flights spanning over a decade to do so.
It is always cool to represent women. I don't think there's enough of us, and I think we still get lost in the shuffle.
Now, after accomplishing one dream, she's already thinking about the next.
I would like to see more women out front, and my dream is to have an honor flight with nothing but women.
Reporting from Fresno, I'm Ben Morris.
A powerful reminder that honor, gratitude, and healing can take flight in many forms. When we come back, a story about a wounded Marine veteran who nearly lost everything, but regained his independence and dignity with the help of a special organization and the strength of his family. Welcome back to Veterans Voices 2025. When Marine veteran Albert Flores left for Iraq in 2003, he was fulfilling a lifelong dream of serving something bigger than himself. But 2 years later, an IED nearly took everything from him. Dylan McKim in New Braunfels, Texas, has Albert's story of resilience, renewal, and newfound independence.
I just want to be part of something bigger than myself. And 9/11 had happened a little bit after that. So I want to do my part also.
Albert Flores had a dream of becoming a Marine, a dream he realized in 2003, serving his country in Iraq and providing for his family. But in 2005, while out on patrol,
just told everyone to look out for some IEDs, and as soon as I said that, literally an IED had just blown up right underneath us. Took everything from the windshield forward, was pretty much gone.
Flores's leg was mangled in the explosion. He had to be carried to a nearby home to wait for a medical evac, his mind turning to his family as he awaited rescue. His wife, Elvira, who he met in middle school, and their 6-year-old son were thousands of miles away.
Was my son going to remember me? Is this the last spot? You know, am I not ever going to get to see him again?
It's like every time, we relive it all over again.
Flores was able to get back home to his family, but their lives were forever changed. Doctors had to amputate his leg above the knee. He learned to walk on a prosthetic, but he still relies on his wheelchair, and life inside his home proved to be another battle, as mundane tasks like taking a shower became dangerous.
My crutch would slip on me or something, I'd miss a wet spot and straight down and try to catch myself and dislocated fingers and stuff.
It would suck because a lot of times I would be like,
should be at work.
I wouldn't work from home. I would be at work and things like that would happen. And
the Flores family, an example of what so many wounded veterans go through back home. That's where Homes for Our Troops comes in. The organization builds custom homes for veterans adapted for their needs.
In essence, what they did for us is sacrifice their freedom and independence because they need assistance on a lot of those just daily mundane things that we all take for granted.
This is the 400th home the organization has built in the past 20 years. This one's in New Braunfels, and it belongs to the Flores family.
Make some food.
An open floor plan wide enough for Albert's wheelchair, a roll-in shower, pull-down shelving in the kitchen, and accessible appliances. And a fully paved path around the home, restoring freedom back to Albert's life and lowering the stress for his family.
More than 93% of our veterans say that the stress level across the entire family has gone down.
I just feel we're more happier now. Like he's more happier also, like he just has that independence back, I guess.
Now, Elvira can go to work without having to worry about her husband at home, and their house has become the go-to place for family gatherings and watching football on the weekend. For Albert, it restored something in him that he fought to protect 2 decades ago.
Last night, I can hold my head up high. I have my independence back.
In New Braunfels, I'm Dylan McKim.
With the help of Homes for Our Troops and the unwavering support of his family, Albert has regained his freedom. After the break, we'll visit with 105-year-old Valdemar de Herrera, a New Mexico Army veteran who was one of the last living survivors of the Bataan Death March. Stay with us. Welcome back. It is a story of unimaginable endurance, compassion, and faith. A young New Mexico soldier who faced the horrors of war and came back to build a family and a home filled with love.
Estos hombres son de Channel 13. Remember I told you?
105-year-old Valdemar de Herrera's home in northern New Mexico is filled with decades of loving memories.
This is Dean.
It's nice to meet you. Mucho gusto. Igualmente. Yeah, encantado. But there are darker memories here too.
Hungry, thirsty Filipinos and Americans, most of them too sick to stand, began the 7-day hike to San.
When the Japanese invaded the Philippines and rounded up American soldiers, de Herrera and his fellow soldiers avoided capture.
Daddy and the people that were left there were left to fight. They would not give up. They wanted to fight because they didn't want to give up the Philippines. And so they stayed there and they fought until they had no water, no food, no ammo. It became hand-to-hand combat.
De Herrera was eventually captured. He was part of a second punishing death march, just as lethal as the first.
A lot of death, starvation, thirst, seeing their comrades die.
At one point, weak from a lack of food and water, he collapsed on the side of the road. At any point, a Japanese captor would have shot or bayoneted him, but a guardian angel stepped in.
And then he falls?
He falls. And this gentleman, Mr. Angelo Sakalares, picked him up and carried him, and that's why he survived.
So he had a guardian angel over there?
He had a guardian angel with him. Yes.
In the prison camp, food was scarce, but De Herrera's time as a boy on a farm in northern New Mexico had given him valuable knowledge.
There were a lot of herbs there, so Dad, to get the herbs back into the camp, would act crazy. And they thought that Daddy was crazy anyway, so he would carry the herbs in his little hat or his, do things to where he was able to leave him alone. He'd get the herbs in. And he saved a lot of the lives of a lot of the soldiers because they had beriberi, they had malaria, dysentery.
Even as he suffered, De Herrera worried about his parents back in Costilla, New Mexico.
They got a telegram saying that they was a prisoner of war, but they weren't sure if he was alive or dead. Well, of course, it's going to go through your mind, what is my family thinking? What are they going through with what I'm going through, not knowing where I'm at or what's happening with me?
His time in the camp was its own hell.
One meal a day, rice and water, and that was it. But they were worked to death too, not only in the cotton fields, but the cotton gins, forced labor. There was a lot of forced labor. Or the Japanese just felt like, I'm just going to go ahead and kill that one over there. Why not,
A hell that went on day after day for 3 years and 7 months.
If they didn't do their job or they didn't like the way they did their job, they were beaten severely. They would take their weapons and basically hit them in the back. Not in the front, not anything, in the back, from the head down to the tailbone.
When De Herrera returned to the U.S., he weighed just 80 pounds. After months in Santa Fe recovering, he ran into an old family friend in Taos, 15-year-old Consuelo de Vargas. They would later marry and went on to have 6 children, 5 daughters and a son. Even years after the war, they felt his suffering.
I remember the stories, but part of me blocked them out because I think they were just such horrible stories.
Back home in Costilla, De Herrera settled back into life. While his Japanese captors broke his body, they never broke his spirit.
Daddy has had a good life. He's been a good man. He was a good father, a good provider.
What is it like having, as your father, one of the very last survivors of this horrific time?
It is amazing that he does not suffer from PTSD or depression or any of that stuff the way that today's troops do. The era that he grew up in, the people that his age, they're a special generation. Totally, they're survivors.
De Herrera retired from the highway department and later worked as a foreman at the nearby mine. This 105-year-old man long ago came to terms with his time in captivity and even the Japanese soldiers who mistreated him.
He made peace with it, yes, and the Japanese. He always told us, don't buy Japanese product, cars and stuff. But he made peace with it. And I think that really helped heal his heart too, his spirit.
To this day, his children carry his service with them.
What does it feel like to have a father who's had that experience?
It's an honor. It's an honor. The fact that he talked me into going into the Army.
One of the fondest memories of their father was his singing.
How do you sing that song, Daddy?
Oh, San Francisco, here I come, right back where I started from, San Francisco. Yeah, Francisco.
That's all.
Oh, what a gift. What a gift.
80 years later, a man who saw the worst of humanity,
Men we knew were herded together to start another march.
but never lost his own.
He was a darn good man.
We were lucky to have met and spent time with Valdemar de Herrera at his home in Costilla, New Mexico. In July of this year, de Herrera died at home at the age of 105, a symbol of strength, forgiveness, and the enduring human spirit. We'll be right back with more Veterans Voices. Welcome back to Veterans Voices 2025. From small-town Texas to the front lines of Vietnam, Army nurse Janice Speck answered the call to serve, an experience that would shape her decades-long career in nursing and inspire generations to come.
And I was working the night shift, which meant that I was working with 2 other corpsmen.
Born and raised in San Benito, Janice Speck wanted to be a nurse for as long as she can remember. She attended Baylor University when a unique offer was presented her sophomore year.
They told us about a program that both the Army and the Navy had that would pay for our last 2 years of nursing school in exchange for a 3-year obligation in the military.
Speck decided to commit to the Army. She joined her former husband, an Army dust-off pilot who she met while in nursing school in Vietnam.
We were able to be over there together, which was a big help to us, both, well, mainly psychologically, because we could talk to each other.
Speck was put on a medical floor where she worked night shifts 60 hours a week, treating patients who had tropical diseases, standard medical conditions, and even snake bites. On occasion, she would get sent to the emergency room, where she recalls some of her darkest moments.
Someone who had had 3 or 4 extremities amputated and trying to tell his girlfriend that he would be okay. That part was very traumatic.
After a year in Vietnam, she requested to be transferred to Georgia to work in obstetrics, a field that always piqued her interest. Not only did she get the transfer approved, she also got an unexpected promotion.
Head of the OB department. I'd never done OB. Well, it seems that I was the only military RN that would be in the OB department.
Speck served 5 years in the Army before moving back to the Valley. She was a labor and delivery nurse for over 40 years, working in 4 different Valley hospitals.
It was the biggest blessing of my life to be able to make a good income doing something that I loved and I felt like I was good at, and I helped my patients.
Today, she enjoys reading, spending time with her grandson, and is the only female member of the Vietnam Veterans of America and Veterans of Foreign Wars. She hopes to inspire young girls who have witnessed her contributions not only to the Army, but throughout her entire career as a nurse.
Everybody that was over there was a Vietnam vet. We couldn't have survived without cooks, without mail clerks, and without nurses. And so I then realized that I had something to be very proud of.
In Harlingen, I'm Alexia Serrata.
Janice Speck's legacy is one of strength, service, and heart. As the only female member of her local Vietnam Veterans chapter, she continues to remind others, especially young women, that courage and care can change the world. Every November, we celebrate Veterans Day to honor the service and the sacrifice of those Americans who put their lives on the line for our freedoms. Whether in the line of duty or right here in our communities, veterans are an integral part of our society and our way of life. We thank you for watching this KRQE News 13 special. For more stories from right here in New Mexico, be sure to tune in to KRQE News 13 on air and, of course, online all the time. I'm Dean Staley. Thanks for watching.